On Sunday, November 23, 2014, a pass from Eli Manning soared across the evening sky toward the newcomer, Odell Beckham Jr., with a leap and a motion that seemed to defy the laws of physics. Beckham caught the ball with one hand, completing a touchdown that was immediately hailed as one of the greatest in NFL history. Within minutes, Odell Beckham Jr. was no longer just a player, he was a cultural phenomenon. But fame comes at a cost. Odell Beckham Jr. was born in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, into a lineage of athletic excellence. His father, Odell Beckham Sr., was a running back at Louisiana State University, LSU, while his mother, Heather Van Norman, was a celebrated All-American sprinter. From an early age, Odell seemed destined to follow in their footsteps. At Isidore Newman School, he dazzled in football, basketball, and track, quickly becoming a local star and earning admiration for his versatility. It was during his time at LSU that Beckham honed his craft, developing an extraordinary chemistry with teammate Jarvis Landry. Together, they formed one of the most formidable wide receiver duos in college football history. By his junior year, Odell had racked up over 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns, cementing his status as a top prospect for the 2014 NFL Draft. When the New York Giants selected Beckham 12th overall, he stepped onto the grandest stage in American football, New York City. The city, with its intoxicating mix of adoration and relentless scrutiny, was both a dream and a crucible for the young athlete. Beckham was not just playing football. He was tasked with redefining what it meant to be a wide receiver in the modern NFL. The expectations were immense. His dynamic performances at LSU had already built a reputation, but New York demanded more. Beckham had to prove not only that he belonged among the NFL elite, but also that he could thrive under the spotlight. The first months were rocky. Injuries delayed his debut, and the whispers of doubt began to circulate among fans and analysts. Yet, when Beckham finally took the field, he didn't just meet expectations, he obliterated them. By midseason, he was making plays that left commentators and audiences alike in awe. His agility, speed, and uncanny ability to pull off impossible catches turned every game into a showcase. One commentator remarked, "Watching Beckham is like seeing a magician who turns the ordinary into the extraordinary." However, the pressure of the spotlight came with a heavy cost. New York's relentless media machine magnified his every move. On the field, he became a target not just for defenders, but for narratives about his temperament and commitment. Off the field, Beckham's growing fame attracted attention that extended far beyond football. As the world tuned in to watch his highlights, Beckham felt the dual weight of adulation and expectation. Every touchdown was celebrated. Every mistake was dissected. He was no longer just a wide receiver. He was a symbol of athletic excellence and, increasingly, a lightning rod for controversy. Still, Beckham's charisma and talent shone through, even as he navigated the complexities of stardom. For a 22-year-old thrust into the limelight, the balance between embracing fame and staying grounded proved a daunting challenge. It was a balancing act that would define not only his career, but also his place in the cultural fabric of the NFL. And yet, even as Beckham reached new heights, storm clouds gathered on the horizon. The next chapter of his journey would test not only his skills as an athlete, but also his resilience as a person. Fame, it seemed, was only the beginning of the battle. Hit that like button to support stories like these that dive deep into the human side of NFL players, because what's better than an iconic touchdown is the story of what comes next. And for Odell Beckham Jr., the story got even more intense. That legendary touchdown against the Cowboys catapulted Beckham to a level of visibility few athletes ever achieve. His signature blonde hair, high-profile connections with celebrities like Drake, and ability to pull off jaw-dropping plays transformed him into an icon overnight. Children mimicked his one-handed catches, and brands scrambled to have him endorse their products. Beckham wasn't just a star, he was a phenomenon. However, fame isn't just a spotlight, it's a magnifying glass. And under its glare, every imperfection becomes amplified. Cameras didn't just capture Beckham's awe-inspiring feats on the field, but also his emotional outbursts. Moments of frustration, such as his infamous battles with kicking nets or heated confrontations with players like Josh Norman, became instant headlines. These outbursts added to a narrative that painted him as immature and unrestrained, overshadowing the brilliance of his performances. The emotional toll of constant scrutiny began to show. Beckham's passion for the game, which fueled his spectacular plays, was the same fire that often burned too brightly, leading to moments he would later regret. While his highlights made him a household name, his lowlights kept him at the center of relentless media criticism. Each touchdown was celebrated, but each misstep was dissected with equal fervor. Beckham's fame also brought challenges off the field. Every aspect of his life, from his friendships to his fashion choices, was now subject to public commentary. The pressure to maintain a flawless image became a battle in itself, one that few athletes are prepared to fight. For a player just in his early 20s, navigating this storm required not only talent, but resilience. Yet, despite the growing spotlight and its accompanying challenges, Beckham's charisma and skill shone through. He continued to captivate fans and confound critics, proving that his talent wasn't a fluke. But as the stakes grew higher, so did the weight of expectation. Each game was no longer just about performance, it was about legacy. As Beckham tried to find balance in this whirlwind of fame, a question loomed. Could he rise above the noise and remain true to the player who captured the world's imagination? What happened next would redefine his career and his place in the NFL's cultural landscape. In 2016, a seemingly innocent photo of Beckham and several Giants teammates aboard a yacht would ignite one of the most polarizing narratives of his career. Taken just days before a pivotal playoff game against the Packers, the image became an emblem of perceived carelessness and distraction. Critics and fans alike pointed fingers, and when the Giants suffered a humiliating loss, Beckham's subpar performance took center stage. "This is my biggest regret," he confessed years later, recognizing how the media's interpretation of that single moment eclipsed his dedication to the game. The fallout from that loss wasn't confined to public perception. Beckham's physical resilience began to crumble. In 2017, a catastrophic ankle fracture ended his season prematurely, sidelining him for months and leaving a gaping void in the Giants' lineup. It wasn't merely a setback, it was the prelude to a recurring nightmare. Injuries became a relentless opponent, one that threatened not only his performance, but his identity as an elite athlete. When Beckham finally returned to the field, the flashes of brilliance that once defined him had dimmed. He still possessed moments of magic, but they were increasingly rare. Trades to the Cleveland Browns and later the Los Angeles Rams brought new beginnings, yet they failed to anchor his career. In Cleveland, the much-anticipated partnership with quarterback Baker Mayfield faltered under the weight of miscommunication and unmet expectations. Frustrations mounted on both sides, and by the time Beckham reached Los Angeles, his role had shifted from star to supplementary piece. The physical toll wasn't the only battle he faced. The emotional strain of relentless scrutiny magnified every stumble, both on and off the field. Each injury compounded doubts, feeding an unshakable narrative of inconsistency. Could Beckham ever reclaim the invincibility of his early years? Could he silence the whispers that questioned his commitment and durability? Despite the relentless pressure, Beckham's resolve never wavered. His determination to rewrite his story was evident in his grueling rehabilitation efforts. He refused to let injuries or criticism dictate his legacy. For Beckham, each setback was another opportunity to rise to prove that his story was far from over. The journey through these challenges brought Beckham to a crossroads. In Los Angeles, he joined the Rams not as the focal point, but as a player seeking redemption. The trade offered a fresh chapter, but it also carried an unspoken expectation. This might be his last chance to redefine his narrative. Beckham embraced the role with quiet resolve, contributing crucial plays and displaying the remnants of his undeniable talent. As fans marveled at his resilience, the emotional cost of this path became increasingly apparent. Fame, once a source of pride, now felt like a double-edged sword, a tool that elevated him to greatness, but also exposed his deepest vulnerabilities. By the time Beckham found his rhythm with the Rams, his journey had taken on a new significance. He was no longer just an athlete fighting for a championship. He was a symbol of perseverance, a reminder that the road to redemption is paved with both triumphs and trials. But just as Beckham's redemption arc seemed complete, fate had one more twist in store. The cost of his revival, the physical and emotional sacrifices, was about to collide with a moment that would define his legacy forever. In 2021, fate handed Beckham a chance at redemption. He joined the Los Angeles Rams, not as the franchise's centerpiece, but as a vital cog in a championship-caliber machine. The whispers that his best days were behind him grew louder, and the weight of proving himself anew was heavier than ever. Yet Beckham thrived under this pressure, channeling it into performances that reignited memories of his prime. Super Bowl 56 became the stage where Beckham sought to write the final chapter of his comeback. From the opening whistle, his presence was felt. A first-quarter touchdown silenced doubters as Beckham soared to snag a perfectly placed pass. Every move he made on the field exuded confidence, precision, and an unmistakable hunger for redemption. He wasn't just playing football. He was fighting for his legacy. As the Rams surged forward, Beckham's contributions grew pivotal. Teammates marveled at his ability to read the game, his precision routes, and his near-telepathic connection with quarterback Matthew Stafford. For the fans in the stands, it was vintage Beckham, a reminder of the player who once dominated the league with sheer talent and charisma. But as the second quarter unfolded, fate intervened with cruel precision. A routine play turned catastrophic as Beckham's knee buckled without warning. The stadium, moments before alive with celebration, fell eerily silent. Beckham's agony was visible as he clutched the same knee that had already endured the trauma of an ACL tear. The journey he had fought so hard to complete was once again threatened by the fragility of the human body. Scans would later confirm the worst: another ACL tear. The emotional toll of this moment was immeasurable. Beckham, who had risen from the ashes time and time again, now faced the possibility of an uncertain future. As he watched his team fight for and ultimately win the championship from the sideline, tears streamed down his face. The joy of victory was tempered by the haunting reality of his injury. Despite the bittersweet nature of the moment, Beckham's spirit remained unbroken. In the days following the Super Bowl, he spoke openly about the duality of his experience, the triumph of becoming a champion, and the heartbreak of his personal setback. "This isn't the end," he vowed, even as fans and analysts speculated about his ability to return. The months that followed were grueling. Physical therapy sessions tested his resilience, and every small milestone in his recovery felt like a hard-won battle. Yet, Beckham embraced the challenge, leaning on the support of his family, teammates, and fans. "I've been here before," he said, with a determined resolve that became his mantra. For Beckham, the road ahead was not just about physical recovery. It was about reclaiming his identity, proving to himself and the world that he was still the player who could inspire awe and overcome adversity. The Super Bowl ring on his finger served as a symbol of what he could achieve, but the fire in his heart demanded more. As Beckham's rehabilitation progressed, whispers of his return began to circulate. Fans eagerly awaited the day they could once again witness his electrifying presence on the field. Yet, Beckham remained focused on the moment, refusing to rush the process. "When I come back," he promised, "I'll be stronger than ever." But as he neared the final stages of his recovery, a new question emerged. Would the NFL still make space for a player whose career had been as polarizing as it was brilliant? The answer, like Beckham's journey itself, was anything but certain. Hit that like button to uncover the real stories behind the NFL's most iconic figures. Because Odell Beckham Jr. isn't just a player. He's a testament to how fame can elevate, challenge, and redefine an athlete. His journey embodies the relentless pressures of not only being a football star, but also a cultural phenomenon in a world that thrives on both the brilliance and flaws of its heroes. More than the game, Beckham's life is a pursuit of relevance and redemption. His path showcases the dual nature of celebrity, a force that shaped him into an icon, yet demanded everything in return. As Beckham's future in the NFL hangs in the balance, his cultural impact and status as one of the most memorable players of his generation remain undeniable. And when you think about enduring legacies, who better to compare to than Tom Brady? Both faced immense pressure and challenges, But if you want to explore how Brady became the greatest quarterback of all time, just click the video popping up now.